The Sunday after November 1st, we celebrate All Saints' Day. It's a day when we commemorate all those who the church declared lived a virtuous and godly life and now enjoy the riches of heaven. Today, however, is November 2nd, and we celebrate the Feast of All Souls, when we remember all of the faithful departed who have fallen asleep in the arms of God. All those we love but see no longer. So today we chose to celebrate both. So first, All Saints. A common question that comes up when we talk about saints is, why do we pray to saints? And the short answer is, we don't. We pray with them. Since a saint is someone who the church declared is definitively enjoying eternal paradise, that is, someone who is alive with Christ, a saint is simply someone you can pray with, just like you might pray with a friend. The church has selected saints all throughout history who have survived various earthly trials so that their story might be an inspiration to us, so that we can have assurance that if I am living with the same struggle as a saint, if I lived through a tough situation like a saint, or if I felt called to action just like that saint, then with God's grace, I can receive aid just like that saint did. I can make it through that tough situation just like that saint did. And I can make it the wrong that I notice in the world make right, just like that saint did. St. Bernard of Clairvaux writes, calling the saints to mind inspires, or rather arouses in us, above all else, a longing to enjoy their company. We long to share in the citizenship of heaven, to dwell with the spirits of the blessed, to join the assembly of matriarchs and patriarchs, the ranks of the prophets, the council of the apostles, the great host of martyrs, and the noble company of confessors. In short, Bernard writes, we long to be united in happiness with all the saints. Our hearts yearn for this reality. Our spirits desire this happiness. And our minds know there's something more to life than the here and the now. That is to say, we know that life does not rest in the body. It rests in the soul. St. Ambrose was the bishop of Milan back in 374. And when his brother Satyrus died, it was an occasion for him to spend some time thinking about both the joys of life and the sting of death, and how the two might be related. His first observation was that death wasn't a part of God's original plan. God's desire was for us to live forever in the beautiful island home that was created for us to both enjoy and to guard. But we desired more than beauty and love. We wanted to be God, to have all God's knowledge, and to have all God's power. And so our self-created chaos ensued. We often talk about death as the penalty for sin, but I love St. Ambrose's take on death. He writes, God did not decree death from the beginning. Rather, God prescribed it as a remedy. He goes on to elaborate that God knows there's still plenty of beauty around in our world, but God also isn't ignorant to the fact that there's also plenty of pain and injustice in this world, and that living in this fallen world can be a heavy burden for our souls. God knew our souls could not bear the weight of this pain for eternity, so death became the remedy, an invitation to come back home where all is right. His work concluded by noting the three types of death we will experience in this world. The first is the death inflicted by sin. That is, the way we watch the world go backwards each time we choose ourselves over the other, each time we worship a different God instead of the living one. Then secondly comes the death you and I are called to in the spiritual life, death to those very desires, so that as we put our egos to death, we choose other over ourselves, the Lord of life over the gods that bring us closer to death. And then there is the third death, the bodily one. The death that is not a finality, but a transition from the finite to the endless, from the fallen to the glorious. That moment when we have our final earthly exhale and our first heavenly inhale. That moment when we enjoy the sweet smell of life, the glorious light of love, the sight of seeing those saints who inspired us day to day, face to face, and finally beholding the smile of those we love but see no longer. Everything that was once wrong, through the remedy of death, will be made right again. So today we pray for all the saints who enliven our hearts and souls as we look forward to eternity. We pray for those souls whom we love but see no longer. And we look forward to that day refined by God's light when we see each other face to face, perfected by God's ceaseless